Welcome to Never Rewrite. I'm Isaac Askew.
And I'm Jeffrey Sherman. And today we're going to discuss the tension between the hero and the lifeguard, which are
Hmm?
two types of helpful developers who are
Hmm.
like oil and water, and how to navigate conflict between them.
The hero and the lifeguard.
The hero
Okay.
and the lifeguard. So the hero is a developer who, if you are stuck, will drop everything, come and help you, guide you through the problem, and
Hmm.
bring you to the other side. And they will have heroically put aside their needs to help you and help you get through it. The lifeguard, on the other hand, says, hey, the only way you're going to learn is by doing. So I've got my eye on you and I see you
Hmm.
and I will make sure that you don't drown, but I'm not going to help you navigate through it because the only way you're going to learn is by doing.
Hmm. You had some tough lifeguards growing up.
Well, but I mean, that is how lifeguards are. They will sit in that chair unless you're actually struggling, and then they'll dive in.
I don't think they ever take the moment to go, I don't think you're trying hard enough to swim. You got to try a little harder before I save you.
It's an analogy,
I know.
dude.
I know. I'm just messing with you. All right. Walk
Don't
me
don't.
through. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, don't make me bro you. um, so what I have encountered lately, because I've been working closely with a hero and a lifeguard,
Hmm.
and what I find is the hero gets really annoyed because progress with the lifeguard is slower,
Okay.
and the lifeguard gets really annoyed at the hero because the people don't know as well. That the developers who are getting led by the hero don't understand as well, and so when their incidents are arising, the lifeguard needs to step in more often. The lifeguard says
Hmm.
to the hero, "You are making more work for me
Right.
because you're helping these people. They're getting further along, but they don't actually know what they're doing. It's You're
It's to
helping
teach a
these
man
people."
to fish kind of thing.
Well, in this analogy, it's teach someone to swim while they're holding onto the wall,
Yeah.
and then they don't realize that they don't actually know how to swim and jump into the deep end, and then the lifeguard has to rescue them.
This is an interesting distinction. I think I've definitely ran into this a few times. Where I mean, I've definitely met people who just run in like they see a problem and they fix it. I'm like, well, wait. How did you fix it? What was the issue?
Mm-hmm.
But they're already gone to fix some other problem. Being the hero in some other situation, and that can be really frustrating because that's the bus factor thing, right? Where you
Mm-hmm.
never actually get to spread the knowledge that would make a person not have to be a hero the whole time. You can create like three heroes, and they can be spreading the work and helping out and training other people while they're doing it.
Well, no heroes would be better, and then everyone would know.
I see. Okay.
But it's also much slower.
Hmm. Yeah, to teach somebody and requires extra effort than if you just wiped your hands clean and moved on, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Uh, but what I find interesting is the two of them will end up fighting.
Hmm.
The hero will fight because the hero will be upset because things are going to move too slow, and the lifeguard is upset because there's going to be more incidents because people don't actually know what they're doing.
Right.
And neither of them is
Yeah.
wrong. Like both of those things are going to be true.
I guess my initial reaction to this analogy is I feel like the hero is wrong. I feel like if I had to say when you say neither one of them is wrong, I feel like the idea of just going through it and correcting in code without explaining what you're doing or letting people know something that feels wrong there. More
Well,
wrong than the lifeguard situation where you're actually just trying to help them learn.
the maybe hero is the wrong word because that's not how I envision it. Maybe it's more of the guide versus the
Mm.
lifeguard, where this person is guiding you through it. They're not doing everything, and they're not swooping in, fixing the bug, and then swooping out. It is more if you're
Oh,
doing
okay.
something difficult, like you're doing messaging.
Hmm.
Messaging has a ton of edge cases. And so if you've got this hero or the guide, he's like, okay, cool, you're doing messaging, you've got the happy path going, you need a dead letter queue.
Mm-hmm.
Because sooner or later you're going to have a message that's unprocessable, and you need to have the system set up to push that away. Otherwise, you're going to get a poisoned queue, and you're just going to be stuck.
Right.
Whereas the lifeguard would just be like, yeah, you should do that, but you didn't ask, so I'm going to let you discover poisoned queues.
Ah, okay. Maybe we can come up with some different terms. These are very interesting distinctions that were not obvious the first time you outlined
Okay.
it. I really like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let one person letting you just kind of figure it out on your own, another person guiding you to the point that you never actually get a chance to do it by yourself, so you don't learn it fully.
Mm-hmm.
I see. That's an interesting issue. I've definitely met both sides of this for sure. So what do you
It,
do?
uh, you get an emulsifier to mix the oil in the water.
Interesting.
No, I don't know what you do. You
Hmm.
keep the two of them separate, I guess, is mostly what I find works best.
Hmm.
Uh, I think it's helpful to remind them, um, like, look, you are acting like, what are we? We're saying the guide. You're
Hmm.
being a guide, and you're telling them, you're pointing them at the answers, and that's
Yeah.
great, but that's going to cause more incidents because they don't really understand.
Hmm.
And so you as the guide need to understand that, and you need to prepare them for that, and you need to ensure that when there are incidents, these people step up. Because what happens a lot of times is, and this will be the lifeguard's complaint, there's an incident, these people don't really know what's going on because the guide guided them.
Hmm.
And so then they will step back and be like, we don't know what's going on. And then the lifeguard or the guide will have to fix it every time.
Yeah.
And so that's where the critical piece is, because to the lifeguard, it's like, hey, I don't really care if you understand it or not. It's when there's incidents and then I have to step in,
Yeah.
right? Because
I think you're right in this emulsifier slash joke thing that you mentioned,
yes,
because I think in this case that needs to be a single person who needs to hold both of those truths at the
mm,
same time. Because I can imagine a case where, depending on the person that I'm talking to, if I guide them, I know they're going to self educate after we're done, and some people I know won't, and they
yes,
need that. So I think it's kind of up to the person. You need to be both of them. I mean, and this is just my first hot take from your comments there. You know, as a mentor, you might need to just be a little bit of both and understand when one person needs to be poked one way or the other, because it's probably like, you know, it's always a balance, right? If you've got like the oil and water,
mm-hmm.
I'm sure, you know, sometimes it's good to lean one way and sometimes it's good to lean the other, and it's just you need to know when. I think it always boils back to that. It depends, right?
It depends always.
Yeah.
Uh, it depends is the great emulsifier.
It's the lie that turns the water and the oil into soap. Sorry, we just got to get deeper and deeper into these
Let's
analogies.
just go the other way. You need a Jesus to turn it all into wine, and then everyone gets drunk, and it'll be great.
Excellent.
Yes. Um, well, I think we are completely off the deep end in this conversation. So, why don't we end it here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jeffrey Sherman.
And I'm Isaac Askew, and this is Never Rewrite.